Welcome to the Tech2day podcast. It's your host, John Mayetta. So I had a request about a demo for Google's NotebookLM product. We had published an article, maybe a couple months ago about NotebookLM, and I wrote about NotebookLM briefly last night within the context of NotebookLM as a competitor to CRM products, most notably Salesforce, ticker CRM. So I just thought I would do a quick demo. So I already have an account set up. This is just a personal account, not a commercial account. And in terms of features, functionality, the piece of functionality that we highlighted a couple months ago in that original article was the product's ability to create a podcast generated by AI. So if you were to dump in a Google Doc, Google Slide, a website URL, YouTube URL, or if you were to copy and paste text and dump it into this user interface, the product analyzes the text or the video or both and creates a podcast with two co-hosts, and they discuss the content that you dropped into the tool. And then in addition, there's a sort of a natural language summary function, which I did not talk about. Let's grab a URL. If we click here and grab this video, this is a podcast about a guy named Eric Prince, who I would like to see become the next Secretary of Defense, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. So grab the URL, copy, pop over here, click YouTube, paste the URL, and now we're just sort of hanging out. And depending on the duration, this could be, so for example, I've done it with, in the article we wrote a couple months ago, it was a movie trailer. So a 2-minute movie trailer. It took maybe 30, 45 seconds to generate the podcast. So I dumped in this Eric Prince video, which was something slightly longer than an hour. Here we have our natural language summary of the video. And in addition to the summary, we have table of contents. And it's going to generate this on the fly. So here's your table of contents based on the content of that YouTube video that I dropped in here. Briefing doc. There's your briefing doc about the contents of the video. This might be interesting. This will be a good test. So this is an article that I wrote a couple of days ago. And you may not be able to tell by looking at the screen, but there is a text portion, and then there is an image portion. So I wonder how effective NotebookLM will be with respect to ingesting both the text piece, which should be easy, but then in combination with the image, let's see if it can capture. So we'll grab the URL, go back to NotebookLM. Sources this time, we're going to use the Tech2day website. Right, Texas. Okay. So you could do the same thing with an earnings call transcript as an example and have the tool analyze that. So I just recently downloaded Microsoft's September quarter transcript. Here's your little summary of the document. We could do, let's do a briefing doc. Strong start to fiscal year. Driven by Microsoft Cloud surpassing $38.9 billion in revenue, up 22% year over year, double-digit top and bottom line growth achieved. Next bullet point, AI as growth engine. AI business is on track to exceed a $10 billion annual revenue run rate next quarter, marking the fastest business in Microsoft's history to reach this milestone. You know, my question is, and I wrote an article about this, how exactly does Microsoft define its AI business? Which products are in there? I have an idea, but I would like to see them explicitly stated. Third bullet point, Azure expansion and share guide. Azure saw continued growth in cloud migration and took market share. Fourth bullet, Copilot adoption surge. Microsoft 365 Copilot adoption accelerated with daily active users more than doubling quarter over quarter. What I would like to know is what is happening with Copilot Pro. That is the paid version, the premium version of Copilot. I'm less interested in the free version. Gaming momentum. Game Pass achieved new records for total revenue and average revenue per subscriber. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 had the biggest launch in franchise history. Main themes. AI-driven transformation. AI is reshaping work and business processes. Microsoft is leveraging AI across its portfolio, including Azure 365 and Dynamics 365 to empower customers to drive growth and efficiency. Cloud infrastructure leadership. Azure continues to expand its global footprint and attract new customers. Microsoft is investing heavily in AI infrastructure to meet the increasing demand for AI-powered services. Microsoft obviously doing its part to feed the AI hype machine, in my view. Copilot ecosystem growth. Copilot is becoming the central interface for AI, spanning individual productivity, developer workflows, and business applications. Its rapid adoption signifies a shift toward AI-first solutions. 4, gaming as a platform. Microsoft is transforming its gaming business by focusing on higher margin content in services like Game Pass. Call of Duty's successful launch demonstrates the strength of its gaming IP and strategy. Key facts and figures. Commercial bookings up 30%. Commercial remaining performance obligation increased 22% to $259 billion. Azure AI usage more than doubled over the past 6 months. Nearly 70% of the Fortune 500 now use Microsoft 365 Copilot. I would like to know what percentage uses Copilot Pro. Dynamics 365 monthly active Copilot users increased 60% quarter over quarter. Bing X TAC revenue growth outpaced the search market. Significant quotes. Satya Nadella on AI transformation. AI-driven transformation is changing work artifacts, and workflow across every role, function, and business process, helping customers drive new growth and operating leverage. Amy Hood on AI revenue growth. Monetization from these investments continues to grow, and we're excited that only 2.5 years in, Our AI business is on track to surpass $10 billion of annual revenue run rate in Q2. This will be the fastest business in our history to reach this milestone. Satya Nadella on OpenAI partnership. Our partnership with OpenAI also continues to deliver results. We have an economic interest in a company that has grown significantly in value, and we have built differentiated IP and are driving revenue momentum. If you look at that original deal with OpenAI, Microsoft has limited access, and I can't define it more than that, but Microsoft has limited access to any technology IP that OpenAI develops that is AGI related. Meaning for the really good stuff, Microsoft is going to have less commercial value. Satya Nadella on Copilot's impact. When I talk about Copilot, Copilot Studio, agents, it's really as much about a new way to work. And sometimes I describe it as what happened throughout the 90s with PC penetration. Challenges and considerations. Supply constraints. Microsoft is facing external constraints in meeting the surging demand for AI infrastructure, particularly GPUs and data center capacity. NVIDIA chips are in short supply, and Microsoft needs to build new data centers. Balancing OpenAI investment. The significant investment in OpenAI, while strategically important, is impacting other income due to the recognition of losses under the equity method. Look, at the end of the day, the way I see it, OpenAI is generating the cool IP, where Azure has been relegated, in Microsoft's words, from insiders. Azure has been relegated to tech support for OpenAI. And at the end of the day, Azure, it provides a whole host of services. But insofar as the OpenAI relationship is concerned, Azure is simply the delivery mechanism. And that's not to say that there isn't any value in being the delivery mechanism. But that's really what Azure is. Now, Microsoft is also developing its own LLMs, but, it's a generation behind OpenAI. Maintaining growth momentum, sustaining the rapid growth trajectory of AI and cloud business will require continued innovation and effective capital allocation. Overall impression. Microsoft delivered a solid first quarter, demonstrating its strength in cloud computing and AI. The company is well positioned to capitalize on the growing demand for AI-powered solutions across the various industries and consumer segments. However, navigating supply constraints and managing the financial impact of its OpenAI investment will be key factors to watch in the coming quarters. So kind of good high-level overview of the transcript, but not a ton in the way of the numbers if you're somebody who really likes to hunker down on the numbers. But then again, that's why you have an 8K to work through and a 10Q to work through. So that's that's the briefing note for the earnings call transcript. Right, and we could just save this file down as MSFT September 2024 Q. And there you go. And then you could, share the doc with whoever, or just, it hangs out there in the cloud. So that's all for now. See you next time.